In June of 2018, German authorities confirmed a 29-year-old Tunisian man arrested in Cologne was creating a deadly biological weapon from the substance ricin, and he intended to use it for a terrorist attack somewhere in Germany. A biological weapon is a biological agent such as a microorganism or a biologically produced toxin that can cause death or disease in a target population. Saif Allah had learned how to make biological weapons from various Islamist groups that had published instructions on the internet. He had been using the seeds of the castor bean plant, which are naturally poisonous and can be used to create ricin. The substance kills the body's cells by preventing them from creating vital proteins. Ricin is far deadlier than cyanide with no antidote. A few milligrams are enough to kill a person when injected, inhaled, or swallowed. If the German government had not apprehended Saif Allah, he could have killed thousands of people. States around the world are concerned with the growing threat of biological weapons. Germany currently has 770 people classified as a threat. Many of these individuals entered Germany between 2015 and 2016. As early as World War I, the United States tested ricin as a potential weapon mixed together with ammunition or spread as dust, but never deployed it. The substance is still subject to global biological and chemical weapons conventions. The United States has felt compelled to test such deadly substance because of the ongoing threat that other states, other groups, or leaders will develop this technology and use it against us. For example, the early 2000s was marked by the threat of multiple biological weapons attacks. In 1998, Al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden declared that acquiring and using weapons of mass destruction was his Islamic duty. Over decades, he dispatched his top lieutenants to attempt to purchase or develop biochemical weapons of mass destruction. Al-Qaeda Deputy Chief Ayman al-Zawahiri personally shepherded the group's unsuccessful efforts to set off an anthrax attack in the United States. What has the United Nations done to reduce the proliferation of biological weapons? The Biological Weapons Convention, or BWC, is a legally binding treaty that outlaws biological arms. Starting in 1969, the UN Disarmament Forum began discussing and negotiating the BWC. The BWC opened for signature on April 10, 1972, and entered into force on March 26, 1975. The Biological Weapons Convention currently has 5 signatories and 82 states parties, including Palestine, the Soviet Union, and the United Kingdom, the United States, and 5 signatories. 10 states have neither signed nor ratified the BWC. As of December 2002, more than 30 years after it opened for signature, the BWC has 147 members. An additional 16 countries have signed the convention but have not yet ratified it, including Egypt and Syria. The convention aimed for complete disarmament of biological weapons by preventing states parties from developing and stockpiling biological weapons, by developing and enforcing confidence-building measures, and by promoting and improving peaceful biological activities. The convention further requires states parties to destroy or divert to peaceful purposes the agents, toxins, weapons, equipment, and means of delivery described above within 9 months of the convention's entry into force. The BWC does not ban the use of biological and toxic weapons, but reaffirms the 1925 Geneva Protocol, which prohibits such use. It also does not ban biodefense programs. Only 17 countries have had or are currently suspected of having biological weapons programs, including Canada, China, Cuba, France, Germany, Iran, Iraq, Israel, Japan, Libya, North Korea, Russia, South Africa, Syria, Taiwan, and the United Kingdom and the United States. How is anybody supposed to feel safe knowing that all these nations have access to such dangerous, life-threatening weapons that can practically wipe out the human race? What can the international community do if a country chooses not to comply? Countries can take disputes to the International Court of Justice or other tribunals to apply international pressure to a rogue nation. The treaty regime also mandates that states parties consult with one another and cooperate bilaterally or multilaterally to solve compliance concerns. The BWC also allows states parties to lodge a complaint with the UN Security Council if they believe other member states are violating the convention. The Security Council can investigate complaints, but this power has never been invoked. Security Council voting rules give China, France, Russia, the United Kingdom, and the United States veto power over Security Council decisions, including those to conduct BWC investigations. So 3 major issues remain in reducing the threat of biological weapons. A first major issue is bioterrorism, or the deliberate release of biological agents such as viruses, bacteria, or toxins to cause illness or death. Animals and crops are likely targets of bioterrorist activity, with livestock diseases deployed to damage the economy and cause public concern. The Center for Disease Control categorizes the following as Category A agents posing a risk to national security: rabbit fever, anthrax, smallpox, Botox, the bubonic plague, and viral hemorrhagic fever such as Ebola. The single largest recent incident of biological terrorism was the 1984 bioterror attack in Oregon. Followers of Indian mystic named Osho intentionally infected restaurants with salmonella as part of a plan to win local elections. 751 people were infected, and fortunately there were no fatalities. The second issue is the development of biological weapons to spread a virus to epidemic proportions. An infected human can spread the disease amongst a huge population, which could easily cross international borders. The third and scariest threat is if one of the P5 acts as a rogue nation. These are countries that wield enormous political and economic power. It is difficult to force them to comply. Under such circumstances, groups of countries get together to make sure that the rogue country falls in line. International politics is all about forming alliances to pressure other countries or groups. Even then, it becomes impossible to make a superpower responsible for a treaty it has ratified if it chooses not to honor it. We must apply global international pressure for all the countries in the UN to feel they must comply. We must reaffirm that should any rogue nation attack with biological weapons, the international response will be swift and enforce our collective security.